So, San Diego Comicon is in a month, and I was thinking about a few things that I've learned about this show and a few tips, things to avoid, maybe. I think the first one is don't hand out printed portfolios or copies of your work to editors. I say that because editors are overwhelmed and the show is chaotic, and I think the chances of your stuff actually making it in their bag back to their office is pretty slim. You're much better off, whether you're looking for a publisher or talking to an editor, is to strike up a conversation, be friendly, make it short, and say, hey, is it possible I could send you something next month or in a few weeks? That way there's no pressure on them to keep up with one more thing at the show. Last year I printed out, not last year, I didn't go last year, I was in London. 2 years ago I printed out a bunch of portfolio stuff, like packets to hand out. And I found them because I was cleaning up my room, and I threw a lot of them away. Because one, editors are hard to find, unless you already know where they are, which is true of anything, now that I think about it. But I handed out a few, and I'm pretty sure I never heard back. In fact, anytime I've ever handed stuff out, I've never heard back. Two, make sure you drink lots of water. And I know it sounds like a ridiculous thing, but there have been a couple years where I suddenly realized halfway through I felt like total crap, and then realized I was completely dehydrated. And I tried to figure out exactly how far that I was walking throughout the whole show, and just say figuring that a person walks on average 2.5 miles an hour, and how long I was walking typically. I think minimum 50 miles of walking during that show. And you're not eating well because it's a convention diet, so anyway, make sure to do that. The other thing was, if you're going to the show and you're not interested in getting exclusives, like making the mad dash to be the first 100 or 1,000, I don't even know, however many people it is, to get this thing, whatever it is. I've never done it, so it's a figure or a comic or whatever. If you don't need to do that, when the show opens the doors at 9 or 9:30, I think they open at 9 actually. So if the doors open at 9, I have early on been standing out front with everybody, and this huge mass of people in front of the doors to open, right? And so you do that, and it's all crowded in your line, the doors open, you're shoulder to shoulder, you're getting in and out, and you're going in. Then one year I happened to go up to the doors at 9:30. Maybe it was even 9:20. And you know what happened? I just walked in. No shoulder to shoulder. I mean, it was crowded. But that first influx was like, why am I standing here with everyone? The door's going to be open all day, and I don't need to be in there at 9:01 to get anything. I'm just walking around. So, a couple of things to avoid. The other thing is, having been basically for over 10 years and only missed, I think, 2 years in that period of time, 80% of the stuff on the floor is the same stuff that's always there. And some things there are more long-term, like if a certain company has a setup, you'll notice the same statues are there all the time. Well, not that they're selling, they always have their new statues, but like the same, there's a huge Hulk statue that's always there. And a lot of things are the same. And you'll think, oh, I saw this last year, I saw that last year. So at this point, I kind of weed out the things that I have seen before, and Marvel and DC stuff. If it looks interesting, I'll swing by there, but look for like the little out-of-the-way things. Like, I think I told, I mentioned this yesterday, or day before, or yesterday in my live drawing, that there's a little booth like tucked away where they have illustration art from the 50s and 60s, like the golden age of illustration with paintings and stuff. And like it's never really a crowd. I mean, people go to it, but it's this little booth. You kind of walk in, and they have stuff hanging up with price tags like $80,000, right? And then you go back an hour later, and it has sold on it. So collectors are looking at things, but you can look at these things up close, which is pretty cool. So it's just interesting to see those kind of things. Art books that you can't find anywhere else. There's, lots of great places to buy books, comics from like French comics and things like that. So those are the kind of things I look for, and artists that you might not see anywhere else. And then a lot of things, like I said, you see everywhere. You know, you've seen it at the show before, you see it at a different show. So there's a lot of off-site things going on now too. It's pretty much taking over San Diego. So just a few thoughts, that mistakes that I've made, not major ones, but might save you a little bit of trouble, especially the editor thing, because you hand out packets and stuff, and the approach of just casually saying, "Can I talk to you later and send you stuff later," is a big help. So now I'm going to go, because we have 2 dogs that were dog sitting, and they're awful quiet out there, so I'm not sure what they're getting into. I had to close my door. So anyway, remember to subscribe down in the corner over here, and I will see you tomorrow.